I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen I'll tell you a story. You got a minute?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So there was a guy named Robert. Robert was the biggest narcissist you probably ever meet. Very successful business guy, multimillionaire. Had a woman in every city. Drunk. Gambler. Gambled away millions of dollars. He had 2 corporate jets that he bought, and he had his name painted on the tails of both of them.
Very humble. Yeah.
Yes. Well, sometimes he'd take both of them up, and he'd be sitting in one just so he could watch his name fly through the clouds of the other jet. That's a narcissist right there. That is
Respect.
a narcissist.
He's qualified.
That's right. So one day, toward the end of his life, he's on the beach here in Florida, and God speaks to him. Talk about the supernatural. God spoke to him on the inside, not through his ears. And God said, Robert, I've saved you more times than you'll ever know. Now you need to come to me through my son, Jesus. And he was rocked by, what was that? So he called the only guy he knew who was a Christian, Gifford, the sportscaster, Frank Gifford. Remember Frank Gifford?
Of course.
He calls Frank Gifford. Frank, you're a Christian. I just had this experience. Who's Jesus? And Frank said, read that book, Case for Christ by Lee Strobel. That'll explain it. So anyway, this guy, Robert, becomes a radical born-again person.
Wow.
His life is transformed. When he was going to be baptized.
Would we know this individual or
Well, I'll
no?
tell you the punchline in a minute,
Okay.
who he is. Robert gets up at his baptism, and he tells his story. And he says, I was running away from God. I hated the idea of God. And then he spoke to me. And then he looked at people in the congregation. Have you met him? Has he changed your life? Do you know him? And the pastor ripped up his sermon. Said, you've heard the gospel. Anyone, and this church had never had an altar call in their whole thing. Anyone who wants to come forward right now, receive Jesus and be baptized, come forward. And this guy got